The Save Our Nation campaign. This is David Griffiths welcoming you. Removing the globalism of Holyrood and its regional councils. Restoring county councils with Scotland represented as a nation in a great PR Westminster with the constitutional freedom that we as the people of Scotland absolutely demand. Yes, I am David Griffiths, and here I am with my wife, Lindsay, Child Protection and Ethical Issues Spokesperson. Our heritage is being taken over by ideologies alien to our heritage and culture. The so-called nationalist party in Scotland has succeeded in bringing about a globalist Holyrood, responsible for dismissing the glorious past that upheld our unique identity, replacing it with globalist controls that is even including taking away our freedom and ability to judge for ourselves. We are not going to allow this to continue. For all this is leading up to the globalist agenda 2030. With the removal of national identity millions have died for. We intend not to allow this to happen. But we need your support to either become an active member or member for the first time. So important. I tell you, these are days in which we are needing members so as to save our nation. Our determinations, foundations restored, stability restored, borders secure with no drug trafficking, people smuggling ceased, judges and sheriffs signed up to our glorious Constitution, and instead of ECHR, our own House of Lords for all members signed up to our heritage of freedom. We have emphasis on the traditional family with nationhood restored, Scots having more representation in a PR Westminster and restored county councils with local police forces. This is the Scottish Heritage Party. We ask you to become a member, become an active member, for it is so important to save our nation. Freedom, nation, family. Our heart cry to Scotland today. The Scottish Heritage Party, I declare, this is David Griffiths by the way, is determined to save our nation. Freedom, nation, family is our heart cry. We present right now a full manifesto, consistent policies, no experimental injections and lockdowns, a full Brexit, no nonsensical net zero and Agenda 2030, a restoration of local county councils and a PR Westminster. We are passionately pro-life and traditional marriage, and indeed supported by members and donors, not outside controls as with other parties. I tell you, welcome, David Griffiths speaking. I tell you, we're presenting 10 parts of this glorious manifesto for Scotland, starting with part 1, the economy and protection of our environment and lands. The end to the killing of rare wildlife on wind turbines. Wind turbines destroying our farmland and seabeds. And we are moving towards a return to environmentally friendly fossil fuel usage. For this, we will open up the North Sea gas and oil reserves with an aim to bring natural gas to all areas of Scotland, as well as inexpensive fuel prices, boosting our economy, making Scotland a great place to live once more. Part 2 of our great manifesto for Scotland relates to farming, fishing, animal welfare and forestry. Green colonialism is dominating the world at this time, and colonialism embraced in Scotland by an SNP Green coalition, embraced from Westminster. We all know of Ed Willoughby, don't we? Embraced from Westminster by a Labour government hell-bent on destroying our glorious country. We need to be a challenger opposition against all of this woke ideology and this unrealistic net zero agenda. Both governments supported by the UN, who have falsely stated that the world must be carbon neutral by 2050. What nonsense! Without CO2 we will all die. Why? Plants plants relate to CO2 to enable them to grow. I tell you, we are living in extraordinary times, and it will take an extraordinary government to put things right. At this stage, we are challenging, calling you to come on board this challenger opposition party, the Scottish Heritage Party, which has as its part 3 of this great manifesto for Scotland, law and order. How that has disintegrated with the SNP Green and Labour Party alliance, the Uni Party. We will put this right with zero tolerance. The Scottish Heritage Party, recognising the unique history of Scotland's legal system, restoring it back to its Christian heritage under the monarch of the United Kingdom, bound by the coronation oath. Part 4 of our great manifesto for Scotland exposes Big Pharma, restoring the NHS back to its original vision, developing an NHS of prevention with a nation of the highest natural food and water standards and safety measures. We believe we can bring to Scotland a more efficient, less expensive healthcare system, free at the point of use for all British nationals. We expect those coming in from abroad to have their own insurance, so we will be providing the very best of care, free at the point of use for all British nationals. So we will give a more efficient, less expensive healthcare service, free at the point of use by a program of prevention, free from untested jabs and lockdown of our economy. What damage the lockdown and untested jabs have caused. We regard them as being killer jabs, killer lockdowns. We would never have allowed it. We oppose it from the very outset. Reform didn't do that. Indeed, they have embraced the vaccine minister of the Conservative government at the time, with a Scottish Heritage government, part of the UK Heritage Party. We would have had no lockdown. We would have had no untested jabs and would have been a wealthier country, healthier country, if we had only had a Heritage Party government. Part 5 of our great manifesto for Scotland, preserving of the Scottish military, so vital to the protection of Great Britain, and the founding of a military-based National Guard to rid the country of illegal immigrants, illegal drug running, modern day slavery with prostitution and the gangs associated with all of this evil. Scottish military history is legendary. It is a nonsense of the SNP to even suggest the leaving of the Union when Scottish soldiers, Scottish sailors, Scottish Air Force personnel have given their lives to it. It is the desire of the Scottish Heritage Party for Scotland to be seen as a great military nation once more. Peacekeeping and preventing unnecessary wars. Our message to you is one of peace through strength, declares David Curtin. The first duty of the armed forces is the defence of the realm. The managed decline of the British armed forces must stop. It must be restored to at least 2000 levels, with an army of 110,000, a Royal Air Force of 55,000, and a Royal Navy of 45,000. Part 6 of our Great Manifesto for Scotland relates to Scottish transport and infrastructure. What a mess the SNP have made of our ferries. What a mess the SNP has made of our roads. Pothole after pothole. When you go out, it's like being on the dodgems. We need to do something to restore our great nation. We need to do something to save our nation. Instead of excessive expenditure on wind farms and net zero, we will divert funds into the nation's infrastructure with a great maintenance scheme. The Scottish Parliament has responsibility for the following areas of policy, and we are putting to the people that Holyrood has hopelessly failed with record numbers of deaths on the A9. The fault of the SNP in our view. Disgraceful links to Northern Ireland, the A75 going from the motorway just north of Carlisle is a disgrace. We tell you it needs to be dualled. We need to have a railway too, giving us links to Northern Ireland. The great disgrace we have before us must cease. And also on the A96 from Inverness to Aberdeen, great queues. Look, you need to invest in infrastructure to have prosperity in a nation. You need to understand Norway has used its oil resources, which we have ignored, so as to do this. I tell you, we need to be able to have a nation that can pay its way. It can be compassionate to the disabled. The long-term disabled being guaranteed to be benefited by a Scottish heritage government. For the short-term disabled, we will look to bring them back into work as soon as possible, with compassion, with care, with understanding. You're not getting this kind of talk from Reform. I tell you, the Scottish Heritage Party genuinely cares. We love our nation. We love its people. We do not like to see older people freezing in the winter in their homes. Our very own abode here in Whitton, Scotland, its fuel prices, its oil, which is kerosene oil to run our heating, now 2.5 times more than it was in February. Had Scotland opened up the great oil resource, people like us, pensioners in this day and age, would not have to freeze in the winter. I tell you, we care, we understand, we are not bound by net zero ideology. We want to see everybody warm in the winter. That is our policy. That is what we shall achieve. Part 7 of our great manifesto for Scotland, the Crown Estate. You can find detailed information on how we would manage this, freeing the estates from net zero ideologies. And if you go to ScottishHeritageParty.org, there is a particular section on the Crown Estate. It will be managed properly without the green colonialism we are witnessing all over the nation and all over the world. Part 8 of our great manifesto for Scotland brings a return to high educational standards. Once amongst the greatest in the world in Scotland, now almost destroyed by a gross SNP government. For instead of trans ideology, we will restore our education system in Scotland away from indoctrination to purist education that ensures our great heritage lives on. You know, Scottish heritage requires a radical return to the old paths, teaching family values alongside the Constitution of Great Britain, of which Scotland has an equal part. Part 9 of our great manifesto for Scotland relates to the civic administration. You know, from the 17th century, Scotland until 1975 enjoyed real local government and cultural identity until this dreadful process of centralisation with regional councils and Holyrood, both of which we will remove and bring the power back to the people into your hands, with county councils waving county flags, having their own police force, working with local business, removing the bureaucracy of communism, replacing it with the freedom the people truly deserve. Cultural identity will be restored. Decentralization will do this, especially for you. That is why you becoming a part of this party is so important. A Scottish Heritage Party government will restore these identities with a local county council chamber full of elected local people determined to wave individual county flags with pride. All this with decentralization, determined to suppress the move to global government at a national level by restoring the power back to the people under God. And now we come to part 10 of our great manifesto for Scotland. Culture, sport, the arts, heritage and tourism. If ever there was a nation on earth that should be celebrating its culture, sport, arts, heritage and tourism, it is Scotland. You know, only today I was looking at an old YouTube video with Billy Shand, Gene Wedpath, Bill McHugh. This is the very passion I want to see back into Scotland. Our heritage being restored. All this is being destroyed by a globalist Holyrood. There's nothing nationalist about it. To be a true nationalist, you need to be part of the Scottish Heritage Party, as part of Great Britain, equal partner, but having a nation which is proud of its heritage. Absolutely. And tourism, fully part of Great Britain, yet having this own unique identity, welcoming visitors from all over the world who love to embrace this Scottish heritage. The key cultural elements are embraced in its symbols, an attire that includes the kilt that has distinctive patterns related to the clans. What greater sight can there be for the visiting tourist to witness a pipe band dressed in distinctive tartan marching along the streets of our great towns and cities. It's our view, however, that with lockdowns and controlled medical interventions, that all of this has come under attack over recent years. And it is our intention to be proactive in seeing this area thrive again. I have enjoyed speaking to you about these things. It is so much a passion in my heart. Hence I am a active member of the Scottish Heritage Party, part of the UK Heritage Party, founded and led by David Curtin. And we need you to become a part of this for the good of the country, to save our nation. We need active members and donors in Scotland. To be part of our team, go to heritageparty.org and click join to see our full manifesto for Scotland, designed to save our nation. Click scottishheritageparty.org. This program has been promoted by E.M. Lindsay, Griffiths agent, on behalf of David P. Griffiths, both of 23 George Street, Whitthorn, Wigtonshire, DG88NS. And you can contact us at scottsheritage4219@gmail.com. This is the Scottish Heritage Party. Details are there on your screen on how to contact us. David Griffiths saying to you, God bless. Thank you for joining us on this presentation of the glorious Scottish Manifesto of the Scottish Heritage Party. Goodbye for now. We look forward to seeing you soon.